Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be going through Empyre Avengers number 0, Avengers Empyre number 0, whichever way. It all works for me. It's an issue that's written by Al Ewing with art by Pepe Larraz, and obviously it's heading us into the whole Empyre event, something that I was not that excited about when it was first announced. Now, I have read the original Kree-Skrull War. I did a Patreon podcast thing on that. So I'm aware of the original story that is kind of referenced a lot in this. Now, in March, you had Road to Empyre, the Kree-Skrull War number 1 come out. I enjoyed that. I actually got a little more excited for this whole Empyre deal because of that. Now we have a shutdown. We come back, and I need this Avengers number 0. I need it to re-energize me again. I need to see why I'm going to care about Empyre, get excited, and this issue did not do it. If I could just, in a nutshell, tell you how I feel about this before we get to the end, I give you my score. I think this was uninspired, is how I would explain it. Now, Al Ewing does give you a little background of the whole conflict between the Kotai and the Kree, the whole contest the Skrulls set up, ending up choosing the Kotai, which was pretty much a mistake that has bitten them in the ass since. You end up with the Skrull and Kree then at each other's throats all this time. I mean, forever. And so this whole thing with the Empyre story, the big gist of it, the big wow moment going in is that the Kree and the Skrulls are teaming up. They are going to go together and fight all their common enemies, which pretty much seems to be the rest of the universe, but the Kotai and Earth and our heroes in general. And this is obviously an Avengers story. And when we get to the Avengers, I was excited. I'm not a huge Al Ewing fan. I like Immortal Hulk. Most people love it. I have read some other things that Al Ewing has done, and I have not been impressed. To me, he is doing something special in Immortal Hulk. I can at least recognize that, even if I'm not a super fan. But the other stuff hasn't really impressed me. So going into this, I'm not going to allow him to rest on his Immortal Hulk laurels, but I am hoping that we're finally going to get a good She-Hulk, because I don't like the She-Hulk that we get in the current Jason Aaron run of Avengers. Also, I'm looking at this as, okay, let's see what somebody else will do with the Avengers, a book by Jason Aaron that I think is not focused on being an Avengers book. So we have this, and this is focused on the Avengers, other things mixed in. But what this really feels like is Al Ewing as a checklist of what he needs to throw at you before we get to the Empyre event. He's got a couple little things laying around that he wants to, kind of tighten up before we go. It's almost like this, all these, they're preludes, but also like a preseason type deal where you're watching your team, you want to tinker with the special teams quick, you want to get your roster down so you can go out swinging in the first game of the season. And it ends up where even the Avengers, nobody feels like they're that inspired, though Tony gets inspired in a weird religious sort of way in this over narration where you're first stressing of him being a man of science and tech and facts, and he ends up being very, very religious, very faith, like stuff like that, which that's a good thing, that characterization, but you don't really see why. It's just happening. He's having dreams, then they're going off to the moon, and then it just happens as he's witnessing some things. But yeah, they're heading to the blue area of the moon where the Kotai ended up doing their contest, growing a garden, all of these things. And even just the beginning, the dialogue feels off. You end up having Carol say, hey, we got a telepathic broadcast of the remains of the celestial brain in Avengers Mountain, Cap. One word, help. That's it, help. Now, we're not necessarily told, you can assume that it's from the blue area of the moon that we got this, but it's not really pushed that much. And even with that, Cap goes from that one word help to the celestial brain, and our help in particular. And I don't know where you're jumping to these conclusions, but I hope you're getting a lot of exercise doing it there, Cap, because this is something that was telepathically sent to the celestial brain without knowing exactly where. it could be somebody who thinks the Celestial is still out and about and doing things and things like that. I just, there's some weird dialogue in this where you go, and also some weird repeating dialogue, but they do get to the moon. They end up, oh my God, this is the blue area. It looks less blue and green and purple. And oh my God, there's all this vegetation, even though later we're spelled out that we need rain to get vegetation more and all this stuff going on. But they do land, and then they get out to survey what's going on, never really going back to that idea of that message. There's never that, oh, so you, Senator, hey, that was, they end up going to look around. And when they get out, this is where I said I was hoping to get a good She-Hulk, but we don't get it. We really don't, because Cap says, even at the beginning, it's so silent. And there's Jen. What Cap mean? I mean, there's not much noise. Even though, like he spells, I've been in jungles, Hulk, and there are sounds you listen for and sounds you tune out. The buzz of insects, the calls of birds. And I'm hearing, well, you're also on the moon. Yes, it's a blue. You're on the moon. Also, that's just silence. Jen can't figure that out. Hey, Jen, you know what? I hate the heat. What you mean, Cap? I mean, when the temperature rises, I don't enjoy it. I no understand. Dumb it down to Hulk level, please. I mean, she is smart. So you go on then, and they get attacked. They end up getting attacked by a sentry that ends up being a Kree-Skrull hybrid. This is the clue to get the idea, oh my God, the Kree and the Skrull, they're teaming up. Now, why is it here? When did it get there? Who knows? And even when we get to the point of the reveal, we wait forever to get to it. And then the reveal is just told to them anyway. But it's just a fight. And I like Pepe Larraz's art, but at points it does get too close in. The angle is too close up. Some of the things get a little bit confusing with exactly what is going on. And for such a simple fight, that shouldn't happen. Well, they are aided/saved by the swordsman. Jacques Duquesne shows up on guard. He starts fighting with them. They fight together. And then you do end up getting the rundown of Jacques Duquesne, the swordsman, how he ended up becoming an Avenger. He kind of screwed them over, all this, and then becoming Kotai, all these things all wrapped into one. And again, he just shows up, and it really does feel like, okay, we have to introduce the swordsman before you throw him in. And then he ends up going from the swordsman to the Celestial Madonna, which then does lead into the deal with Sequoia, the Celestial Messiah, is a big part of this, Koi. And he ends up, hey, everybody, it's me. Hey, Thor, we just teamed up a little bit ago. What up? And Thor's like, man, you got older. Let's go walk and talk and think and talk about things. And they do. So they're going to go and talk. And it all leads to Sequoia needing water on the blue area of the moon. But here we go again with She-Hulk. You end up having Cap and T'Challa watch the tree line. Jen hangs back thinking Hulk thoughts. I mean, what is it? Is she sitting there? Meow, 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 meow. I don't know what she just thinking Smash over and over again? Hulk thoughts. She's thinking. But yeah, and actually I'll go back to that too, because then you have this heavy-handed Tony Stark. I'm at peace, not a scrap of technology in this place, no iron, but I'm home. All right, Tony. And so, yeah, you end up with Sequoia. Hey, Thor, can you use your hammer, get some water up in this joint? I need some growth and stuff going on. All right. Thor's like, that sounds great. He does it, and we're back to Tony. So why does this? And he says, I don't just have faith. You know, he should listen to a little more George Michael, and then he might. But he says, why does this feel like an anointing? Like the first baptism. I'm wearing armor. I'm dry as a bone in here. Why do I feel so clean? All right. And he's crying. All right, Tony. I used to like you. But yeah, so they go and they're going to talk to Sequoia and Swordsman. Hey, what's going on? What was up with that Sentry hybrid that we fought? Hey, Tony, you're a smart guy. You tell us. No, you're going to tell the information a page from now. Just tell us. And Carol does anyway. I think that maybe the Kree and the Skrull are working together. Oh, my. Yes, they have. It's just like, you tell us. Well, I think it's this. You are right. And they've been doing it for a while now, and we are screwed. I mean, there's big trouble coming. They got a fleet coming. Oh, my. Everything's kicking into high gear all of a sudden now that you have unlocked the conversation by saying that you know what you think's going on. Yep, they're coming. An empire of fire and flame is heading here. And so you're just going to get this dialogue and deal where you do have then out of nowhere, Al Ewing's like, I better talk about that incoming #1 book. So, hey, Tony, remember the last time we saw the Kree and the Skrull work together? You remember that? And then Tony just goes through a laundry list. I said, all he has to do is say, yes. We're going to go through a whole deal of the look that she's giving him. Oh my, I've seen that look before when she asked me a question that I can just say, yes, I do remember. And he says, I've seen it across a meeting table. I've seen it on the battlefield seconds before she put me in a coma. I've seen it when I've tried to take a bottle away from her. I saw that when I told her that her Burger King coupons had expired, or when I asked her to pass the sugar, when I borrowed her toothbrush, when I unfriended her on Facebook, when I said you should mix in a salad, when I beat her at Magic the Gathering. I mean, how many, everything. Can we keep going on? She had that look when I asked her if she had any German in her. Then she gave it to me when I responded, do you want some? It's just nonsense. It's so nonsense. And yeah, so then Tony says, thank God I got some speakers in this here armor because I'm going to act like I'm an Independence Day and inspire everybody. Listen to me, people. We're going to team up and there's no debate. We're going to do it. And everybody gets all fired up. Yeah. All right. Good thing. I'm waiting for people. Good thing you have that speaker in your armor. Well, of course he does. That's how he talks to them. And then it goes because, yeah, all right. So they're all ready. They're almost assembled. So then Carol says, all right, Tony, I guess we're all sold. Want to say the words? Then Tony says out loud, that's why I have the speaker in my armor. Really? This is the big takeaway I got from this, that we need to know that Tony, he has a speaker in his armor. That's how people can hear him. And even then, I'm going to put a little extra bass in. I'm going to tweak it there. I might even go, wicka, wicka, as I'm doing it. Avengers, wicka, 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 one, assemble. So they're going to assemble everybody. And yeah, and then you end with a deal like, and nobody's going to get in our way. And then you see the Fantastic Four about nonsense. Oh, my goodness gracious. I am not looking forward to Empyre after this. In fact, I don't even know if I'm going to read it. That's how bad I felt that this was a chore. It was a slog. It was everything but exciting, feeling important. Anything that I needed from this, I didn't get. I got the exact opposite. It's bizarro Empyre is what we got there. And because of that, even with the art that I did like, this is 100% uninspired, thrown out there to just get one other bit of $4.99 from everyone and maybe get character swordsman, get everybody on board with who said there's nothing. By the end, really what you learn in this issue, the Kree and the Skrull are on their way. All right. Yeah. $4.99 for this, please. I give it a 4.5 out of 10 on the site. I'm sticking with that. And if I did want to really sit down and debate this, I could go lower. I will not. But thanks, everyone. Tell me what you think. If you're excited about Empyre, please comment below and tell me how I can get excited for it. Please tell me why I should be excited, why I should, do. And also, if you want to tell me that you love Al Ewing for everything he does, because I don't see it anymore. I think that Immortal Hulk's lightning in a bottle. I do not like this over-narrated writing of nonsense dialogue that felt like nothing. So, and where's She-Hulk? Just terrible. She's probably still standing there thinking Hulk thoughts. It's like he has to mention her, but has nothing for her to do or say or think. So yeah, I just get angry. But hey, if you like this, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and then also check out the links below with all sorts of things, weird science, including Marvel and DC podcast websites, all that, Patreon to support us for this and everything else. And I am going to say goodbye for now.